My beloved child, I have heard your voice in the secret place. Not only the words you formed into sentences, but also the trembling silences between each breath. I know you no longer come before me, asking for a life without storms, nor do you demand that I explain every wound before you are willing to believe. You are learning something very precious. What you need most is not for every road to be smooth, but to know that my hand still rests upon you when the road becomes rough. What your soul longs for most is not to see the full meaning immediately, but to remain near me while that meaning is still being woven in silence. Therefore, I do not see your tears as signs of failure. I see them as the place where a sincere heart is opening, where you no longer hide before me, where you begin to stop bargaining with pain and place it into my hands to be transformed. You once thought a miracle had to arrive as a great event, like a sound that shakes the heavens, like a change so visible that everyone would have to notice. But I want you to understand that some miracles come very quietly. Sometimes the miracle is that you are still breathing after a season that seemed to crush you. Sometimes the miracle is that you still desire to pray, even when your prayer is as thin as incense smoke in the fading evening. Sometimes the miracle is that you did not become bitter after being wounded, did not close your heart tightly after disappointment, did not turn your back on me even after nights was when you could not understand why I allowed things to happen. I do not always answer with thunder. Often, I answer through my steadfast presence, by remaining beside you when everyone else does not know what to say. Let me say this to you with the tenderness of a father. The tragedy you have passed through will not be permitted to become a pit that swallows you. In my hands, it can become a doorway into a new maturity, a new gentleness, a new compassion you did not have before, the places you once locked away because you feared more pain. I do not break open with violence. I come with light. I place my hand upon every crack, not to shame you, but to help you understand that even from the very places once fractured, grace can flow like fragrant oil. You do not need to ask me to erase every trace of what has passed, as though your life is only valuable when no mark remains. I can use even those marks to form a quiet testimony that you have been upheld, preserved, and carried through without being abandoned. Do not merely hope to survive and return to the old days, as though nothing ever happened. I did not carry you through the depths so that you would forget why you were kept. I kept you because there is still something within you that must bloom, still a light that must be given away, still a song that only one who has passed through the long night can sing with truth. Let your heart become soft soil in my hands. Soft soil does not resist the plow, even though being turned over is not pleasant. Soft soil understands that today's upheaval can prepare for tomorrow's fruitfulness. If you allow me to plow the hardened places, pull out the bitter roots, and loosen the ground that has grown dry from disappointment, then from that very wounded soil, I will cause patience, mercy, humility, and a faith no longer as fragile as before to grow. Do you remember the story of Joseph? He was thrown into a pit, sold away, misunderstood, forgotten in the darkness of prison, and perhaps spent many nights wondering why a life that carried a promise had to pass through such a painful road. But I did not leave Joseph in the pit, nor was I absent in the prison. The years that seemed buried were actually the years in which I was quietly preparing him. I formed in him wisdom, self-control, and eyes able to see beyond his own pain, so that at the appointed time, the very place that had been wounded became a source of help for many. Do you see? I can use what you did not choose, what you do not understand, what once made you weep, to open a path you could never build by your own strength. I do not call pain good, but I have the power to turn pain into the place where my goodness is revealed. Therefore, stop fearing that your tears fall into emptiness. Not one of them is forgotten by me. Not one sob passes by without my knowing. There were nights when you thought I was silent because I was distant, but in truth I was sitting very near. So near that my presence did not need noise in order to prove itself. There are times when I do not rush to explain, because what you need first is not an answer to calm your mind, but an embrace to calm your heart. I know you have cried out, waited, listened, and felt as though you met only silence. But that silence is not abandonment. It may be a holy room where I teach you to recognize that I am not only present in the answer, but also in quiet companionship. This pain is not the final period in your story. It is not proof that I have broken my promise. See it as a pause, a place of transition, a rest in the music before a new melody rises. I am not finished with you. I am working in deep places your eyes have not yet seen. I am gathering the scattered pieces, washing clean what has been covered by fear, and placing within you a renewed life that does not depend on circumstances. One day, you will look back and realize that some parts of you were opened only because of that dark season. Some beauty only appeared after you allowed me to touch the place that hurt most. Some testimonies are born only from those whom I have held through the fire without allowing the fire to consume them. I know you desire truth more than shallow comfort, and I will give you truth, but not as a blade that wounds you further. My truth comes with mercy. It does not merely expose what happened. It also shows you what I am doing through it. That truth will help you stop blaming yourself for things you could not control. Stop calling yourself abandoned simply because you passed through a lonely season. Stop believing that your wound has made you less valuable. In my eyes, you are still loved. You are still held. You still have a future. And precisely when you no longer need to pretend to be strong, I will form within you a gentle strength, quiet but enduring, but still in me, my beloved. Not the stillness of resignation, but the stillness of one who knows they are being carried. Let me whisper into the place that was once filled with screaming. Let me place peace where there was once only unrest. Let me turn what you once considered brokenness into fragrant oil, poured out for many who need hope. You will not merely pass through this pain. You will be renewed through it. You will not merely continue living. You will live with a deeper awakening, treasuring my presence above every explanation. Giving glory to me not only after everything becomes beautiful, but even while you are still learning to breathe peace one day at a time. I am here, my child. I was here when you cried. I am here when you are silent. I am here when you no longer know what to ask for except to be near me. And that is enough for you to rest today. Lay your head down in my care. Let what you do not understand remain in my hands. Let your pain be purified by me, so that gratitude may slowly grow from the place where there was once only lament. From the deepest place within you, I will bring forth a new song, not the song of one who has never suffered, but the song of one who has been loved through all things, preserved through every night, and led into dawn by the one who never leaves, my beloved child. There are seasons when I do not call you to run faster, nor do I ask you to try a little harder to prove that you are strong. There are seasons when the holiest thing you can do is stop gripping everything in your hands and return to rest in my care. You have carried too much upon your shoulders, calculated too many possible turns, and stayed awake through too many nights, imagining things that have not yet happened. You thought that if you worried enough, you could avoid being hurt. If you controlled tightly enough, you could keep everything from falling apart. If you looked far enough ahead, you could protect yourself from tomorrow's surprises. But my child, worry has no power to save you. Control can never replace my guidance, and your hands, no matter how sincere, were not created to hold the past, the present, and the future all at once. Hear me in this gentleness. I have gone before you into the places where your feet have not yet stepped. I am beside you in what you are facing today, and I am also holding the days that have not yet come in the palm of my merciful hand. No bend in the road surprises me. No door closes without my seeing it. No delay lies outside my wisdom. You may not yet understand why some things must wait, why some roads must wend, why some expectations must be laid down before they are returned in another form. But I do not ask you to understand everything before you trust. I invite you to trust while you are still standing in the mist, because it is there that your heart is formed more deeply, no longer clinging only to what the eyes can see, but learning to lean upon the one who remains faithful, even when circumstances have not yet changed. At times you think I am searching for flawless obedience from you, a life that never hesitates, a yes, without even the slightest trembling. But I know you are formed with fragile limits. I know there are times when you are afraid, tired, and want to ask me once more whether you are truly safe within my will. What I receive with joy is not outward perfection, but a heart willing to return to me, even while it still trembles. A heart that knows how to say, Father, I do not yet see everything, but I choose to place my hand in yours. When you entrust that confidence to me, you are not losing the right to live. You are opening the door for my power, wisdom, and kindness to arrange what you cannot arrange by yourself. Therefore, do not receive what comes to you with fear, as though your life has been thrown into the hands of chance. No, my child, even the things I allow to pass through your life do not escape my sight. Some things come to make you softer. Some come to help you release what has become a burden. Some come to reveal where you are, still clinging to your own strength. Some come not because they are pleasant, but because through them I teach you to discern between what you want to keep and what I desire to give. If you believe that I am the one who loves you more deeply than you understand yourself, you will no longer look at everything with panicked eyes. You will learn to receive each season with deeper peace, knowing that the hand that allows is also the hand that upholds. The hand that corrects is also the hand that heals, and the hand that closes is also the preparing a purer path. I want you to truly let me be Lord over your life, not only in songs, not only in emotional moments, not only as a name you mention when your heart needs comfort. Let me enter the smallest decisions, the plans you quietly store away, the anxieties you think are too insignificant to bring before me. Let me guide you in the way you speak, the way you wait, the way you love, the way you let go, the way you begin again. Do not merely invite me to stand at the door as an honored guest. Let me sit in the place of direction over your life. For when I lead, you are not only brought to a destination, you are transformed with every step. When I hold your hand, even the valley becomes a place where you learn my nearness. You have held the pen for too long, have you not? You have tried to write an ending without pain, a turn without loss, a story beautiful enough for others to look at and say that you did well. But the more you try to write by your own strength, the more exhausted you become from editing and rewriting the pages of life that do not obey your will. Sometimes you try to fit a person into a chapter, I have already closed. Sometimes you try to prolong a season I have called you to leave. Sometimes you try to create an outcome only to soothe the fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But my child, I do not ask you to let go so that you will fall into emptiness. I ask you to let go so that I may write with the handwriting of heaven, so that your story will not merely appear acceptable in the eyes of the world, but will bear the mark of grace, restoration, and things far beyond what you once imagined possible. Remember the story of Ruth, the woman who walked through loss, left the land that was familiar, and followed a path she could not know in advance. She did not hold a map of tomorrow in her hands. She had no human guarantee that everything would be easy. But every humble step, every faithful choice, every day of gleaning in the fields that seemed so small, was held within my quiet arrangement. She thought she was only looking for food for today, but I was leading her toward a new door. She thought she was merely one who remained after brokenness, but I was weaving her life into a greater story where loss would no longer be the final line. Do you see? I often begin wondrous things in very ordinary forms: an obedient step, a laboring day, a heart that does not give up, a trust that makes no noise. So do not look at your ashes as proof that everything has ended. I know how to bring beauty from the place where you thought only remnants remained. I know how to place song again in a room once filled with weeping. I know how to light joy in the very place where you once stood still in disappointment. The things you thought had died in your hands are not difficult for me. The promises you thought time had buried are still alive in my faithfulness. The doors you thought were forever closed still remain under my authority. When the appointed time comes, I do not need anyone's permission to open what I have ordained to open, nor do I need circumstances to appear favorable in your eyes, in order to complete what I have spoken in my wisdom. Yet, my beloved, what I prepare does not always appear in the form you once pictured. It may not be loud, impressive, or immediately recognized by everyone. But when it comes, your heart will know. It will touch the deepest place in you with gentle precision. It will not pull you away from me, but cause you to love me more. It will not force you to lose peace, but will make the peace within you more steadfast. It will not feed pride, but will cause you to bow your head in gratitude, and you will understand that I was not delayed. I was preparing you deeply enough to receive what I give without allowing that gift to take my place in your heart. So now walk with me. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to know the whole road. You do not need to ask in advance for every detail of the days ahead. You only need to place today's step where I shine today's light. When you are tired, I will lift you. When you are uncertain, I will remind you. When your heart is weak, I will draw you near. When you stand before something new, I will go before you as the one who opens the way. Your part is to trust, listen, and keep walking. My part is to do what only I can do. Turn your life into a living testimony of unfailing love, restoring power, and enduring kindness through every season. You thought I had placed a final period, but I am preparing to write a new chapter. You thought silence meant I had gone far away, but I am working in the hidden place. You thought you were only a small, ordinary life, with many scratches and many beginnings again, but in my hands, your life can become a warm lamp for those who are also lost in the night. Let me lead you, step by step, day by day, breath by breath. What is opening next is not because you have controlled everything, but because you have learned to place everything in my hands. Rest, my child. I am here. I go before you. I walk with you. and I will not leave you on the road. I have called you to walk, my beloved child. There are things in your life that do not come to confuse you, but to reveal a deeper layer within yourself. Therefore, when a person, a relationship, an emotion, or a memory suddenly touches your heart, do not quickly conclude that it is a sign to pursue it, and do not panic and try to bury it. Be still before me. Let every outside noise fall away, so that the inner stirrings no longer pull you like a rushing current. Then, in that quiet place, speak to me with the simplest words. Father, what is this showing me within my heart? When you ask me this, I will not despise your confusion. I am the one who sees through what you have not yet learned to name, who understands even the motives hidden beneath a longing, a stirring, a slight jealousy, a desire to be acknowledged, or a fear of being left behind. I do not only hear the words you speak, I also hear what you do not dare to say. There are people who appear before you, like a still lake on a windless day. When you look at them, you are actually seeing some part of yourself reflected back. Perhaps you recognize that your heart still longs to be loved in a very deep way. Perhaps you see that you still desire to be chosen, prioritized, and to have someone stay without condition. Perhaps you discover that you still fear silence, distance, and the feeling of not being important enough in another person's eyes. These realizations are not meant to condemn you, but to lead you to bring them to me. For what is brought into the light of my presence will not destroy you. It will be healed, reordered, and placed where it belongs, so that what remains unhealed within you no longer secretly controls you. There are also people who come like a lamp shining into a hidden corner. Their presence magnifies what you thought you had already overcome. One word from them makes you overly sensitive. One cold response from them causes you to lose peace. One friendly gesture from them causes you to imagine more than I have permitted. My child, in those moments, do not look only at them. Look at what is rising within you. Other people are not always the cause of your unrest. Often, they are only the key that touches a room in your heart you locked long ago. I do not allow this to happen to wound you further, but so you may recognize that there is still a place where I need to enter. Still an expectation that needs to be purified. Still a wound that needs to be held tenderly, instead of covered over with busyness and the appearance of calm. Remember, I do not rebuke you for having emotions. I did not create you as a cold stone, but as a child who knows how to love. Remember, feel moved, long, hurt when wounded, and rejoice when touched with tenderness. But what I want to teach you is not to hand the rule of your life over to emotion. Emotion is a warning bell, but it is not the throne on which you should place your trust. It can tell you that something inside needs attention, but it is not holy enough to lead you to your destination by itself. If you allow emotion to guide you, you will easily step into hasty decisions, easily call attachment love, easily mistake an unhealed emptiness for an invitation from me. But when you place your emotions into my hands, I will not make them disappear harshly. I will teach you to understand them, cleanse them, and bring them into the service of peace, rather than allowing them to destroy peace. I do not forbid you to love, my child. I am the source of love, so I never teach you to live dry or closed off. But I teach you to love in freedom, where you can bless without needing to possess, care without losing yourself, draw near without crossing the boundaries I have to protect you. True love does not make you dependent, nor does it force you to trade your peace in order to keep a place in someone's heart. Love purified by me will make your heart wider, wiser, gentler, but also stronger. It does not suffocate, possess, or use fear to bind. It knows when to move closer, when to step back, when to pray in silence, and when to release something from your hands in order to keep your heart pure before me. Do you remember the story of Abraham when I called him to offer Isaac? It was not only a story about obedience, but also about love being placed back in its proper order. Isaac was the child of promise, the joy after long years of waiting, the precious gift a father's heart could easily hold so tightly that he forgot every blessing comes from me. When I called Abraham to place what was most precious on the altar, I was not trying to rob him of joy. I was teaching him that even the holiest gift must never take the place of the giver. And when he was willing to open his hands, I revealed that what is offered to me is not lost in meaninglessness. It is returned in order, in purity, in freedom from the fear of losing it. The same is true for you. There are desires that are not wrong, but they need to be placed upon my altar so that I may examine them, sanctify them, and return them in a way that does not draw you away from the path I have prepared. Therefore, do not hide your desires from me. Do not pretend that you do not long to be loved, chosen, deeply connected, or understood in the hidden layers of your heart. I know it all. And I am not ashamed of those longings within you. But if you keep them in darkness, they will grow in their own way, seeking self-satisfaction through haste, illusion, and choices that drain you. If you bring them to me, I will place light within them. I will show you which desire is pure, which one is a wound demanding to be filled, which one is an invitation in the right season, and which one is only a passing wind. Awakening an old memory, I will not impoverish your life. I will protect it from things that appear sweet, but quietly pull you away from the peace I give. Maturity in me does not mean you no longer feel stirred, no longer hurt, no longer remember, or are no longer affected by anything. Maturity means learning to bring every inner movement under my guidance. It means not reacting immediately, just because your heart has been touched. It means knowing how to pause before sending a message, how to pray before entering a conversation, how to remain silent when silence is protecting your dignity, how to speak whatever when I have placed clarity within you rather than haste. Maturity means not allowing one vulnerable moment to determine an entire long season. It means understanding that not every open door is meant for you to enter, and not every stirring is a call from heaven. My wisdom often does not force its way into the middle of noise. It does not compete with hundreds of voices, urging you to act now, speak now, hold on now, grasp now. It waits for you to become still. When you quiet yourself, you will recognize that my voice is different from the voice of fear. Fear makes you rush. I lead you with peace. Fear tells you to hold tightly lest you lose. I teach you to open your hands so that what is right may remain without being chained. Fear causes you to doubt your worth. I remind you that you do not need to beg for love by losing the purity of your heart. Fear makes you chase after signs. I teach you to walk by guidance. And as you learn to discern these things, you will no longer be so easily swept away by what seems pleasing on the surface but inwardly draws you away from me. So today, place every emotion before me as one places precious stones, still mixed with dust, in the hands of a skilled craftsman. I will not throw them away. I will wash them, polish them, remove the sharp edges, preserve their true beauty, and set them in the proper place. What needs healing, I will heal. What needs releasing, I will give you strength to release. What needs waiting, I will teach you to wait for in peace, not anxiety. What comes from me, I will confirm with purity, with the right timing, with fruit that draws you closer to me, rather than causing you to lose yourself. You will not be deprived when you entrust your heart to my keeping. You will only be saved from paths that seem beautiful, but do not lead to life. Slow down, my beloved. Do not fear stillness, for in stillness I do not leave you alone. It is there that I teach you to hear what is deeper than emotion, to see beyond the moment, and to choose what is more lasting than a temporary impulse. I am forming within you a heart that knows how to love and still remain free, to desire and still surrender, to connect and still keep purity, to feel deeply and still not be swept away. Let me lead you. When I lead, you will not need to run after what disturbs your heart. You will walk in the peace of one who knows they are loved, protected, guided, and placed upon the path I drew with kindness before you fully understood yourself.